Right, Scipio for the procession. so glad they did really good timings. No plans of vice versa contact with them. Okay, we go then, Skibio. First 3 beats.
Please be seated. Honorary Freeman and Honorary Alderman of the City of Plymouth, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen and young people, and those watching online at home today. Good morning and welcome to the Lord Mayor's choosing and the Council's AGM. Before we start the proceedings, may I bring your attention to some housekeeping. Should the fire alarm sound, please make your way to the nearest fire exit, where you will be guided by staff members to the gathering points. May I remind you also to turn off your mobile phones, as these proceedings are being streamed live on the internet. I have received apologies from Councillors Burden, Finn and Loveridge, and apologies for two councillors who will be leaving during the meeting on other engagements is Councillor Singh and Councillor Nicholson. Nick McKinnell will now lead us in prayer.
May I invite you to stand? And this year has seen some tragic events in the life of the city, and I thought we could hold a few moments of silent reflection for Bobby Ann MacLeod and her family, and for all affected by the Keyham tragedy. And as we remember them, so I bid you pray also for our Sovereign Lady, Queen Elizabeth, and for the royal family, for Parliament and for all who work under its authority in central and local government, for the City of Plymouth, especially for the Lord Mayor Designate and the Council, and for those engaged in the administration of the city in all its duties and services, for the armed forces of the Crown stationed in the city, for the magistrates, the police and the emergency services, all engaged in education and training, for agencies of care and healing, and for the churches and faith communities of the city. And at this time of economic hardship and uncertainty, we remember all who live or work here, especially those for whom life is particularly hard at the moment. And I ask you to bring these prayers together in the words of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. God bless this city, guide its leaders, guard its children, and give us peace, now and forevermore. Amen. Do be seated.
Before I continue with the proceedings, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Bishop of Plymouth for his outstanding service to the city and to its people, both as a rector of St Andrews between 1994 and 2012, and as our bishop since 2015. Nick, you have been with us through the joyous and challenging times, and you have been swaying in your service to the church and to all our citizens of all faiths and none. I know this will be your last annual general meeting before your retirement at the end of August. Along with our heartfelt thanks, I would also like to present you with a small gift as a token of our appreciation. Following the election of Councillor Sudan of the office of Lord Mayor at the full council meeting on the 21st of March 2022, I invite Councillor Mary Aspinall to propose the motion that Councillor Sudan take the declaration of office as Lord Mayor of the City of Plymouth.
My Lord Mayor, Honorary Freemen and Honorary Aldermen of the City of Plymouth, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and young people, and to those listening online. I first met Sue in about 1996 when I joined the Labour Party. I found myself, like many of us do when we become political, elected to various committees, one of which was the Regional Labour Party's Women Committee. Sue had joined the party about 10 years previously, so she was well known and well respected within the region. Sue is an activist and a doer. She joined the Labour Party to make a difference. Better do something than just sit and moan. A resolve that has seen her join the PTA, governing body of the local schools. She looks for solutions. She originally had been a councillor in Newton Abbot, and then she prepared herself for the general election in 1997. And the Labour Party decided to go for all-women shortlists, and particularly of people living locally. So Sue was asked if she would like to prepare and to stand for the candidacy there. She didn't get it, but Candy Atherton did, and they remained lifelong friends until Candy's passing. So Sue went on to stand as the Labour Party parliamentary candidate for Teignbridge, and that was in that 1997 election. And she again stood for Moorview in 2017. She was elected to Plymouth City Council in 2003 and served till 2011. And then she took time off to get on with her career. She joined Team Sutton and Mountgold in 2015. I thank both her and Eddie Rennie for being such great friends and colleagues and supporters. Family is so important to Sue. The move to Plymouth brought her closer to her sisters. And following her marriage to Chris, Rob and Jess, her children, or grown children, were joined by Samantha, Claire, John and Eva. And let's not forget the cats. Who can forget the cats when they play such an important part on Microsoft Teams meeting, keeping us all in good humour? Last year, I attended the party conference in Brighton, and it was decided that several of us, including Sue, would share an apartment. I'm not sure how it compared to previous conferences that Sue had attended. No Gary Lineker to dance with. But this time, we all enjoyed her compilation of music that her family had put together for her, and we were able to bop quite well in the apartment to that. Sue learnt some of the trials and tribulations of everyday life when she was following me around using my mobility scooter. We included getting caught in a horrendous downpour. If you could imagine 3 drowned rats arriving back in the apartment with a scooter dripping water that we didn't dare take into the apartment. I have photographic proof somewhere. Sue, I wish you all the very, very best for this year. I'm sure that you're going to be a good and brilliant first citizen of the city of Plymouth. Your interest in the environment, climate change, and linking the blue and green of the city is going to be a priority for you. Lots of events, I'm sure. So, I've put together a Lord Mayor's Essential Survival Pack. And my trusty assistant has got this. So excuse me, folks, while I just unpack. Now, the tale about the tin. I had got a tin like this full of chocolates left over from Christmas, and during the election, I took it up to the Labour Party hall. I heard a little voice say, as the tin was getting emptied, "Ooh, I like that one." So I went onto eBay and found you one. So let's see what I've got here. It's an essential kit for any Lord Mayor. Sue likes her coffee, so I thought some coffee bags if she's caught short. Obviously, you've got to have biscuits to go with that. Sue likes her Earl Grey tea, so in there's 2 little tea bags. Another chocolate bar. And she does drink tea, so I thought some fruit teas and various bits like that. I reckon, with all the speeches you're going to make, you're going to need some strepsils. I also thought, your feet are going to get sore, no 2 ways about it. So there's heel balm, and there's also, and I shouldn't really advertise, essential plasters for blisters. You're going to be wiping your hands quite frequently, so I thought you really wanted a little handbag-sized hand cream. And then, of course, you're going to come back to Elliot Terrace or to your home absolutely ravenous. Now, a little bird told me one of Sue's favourite things is peanut butter and chocolate spread. And I did feel mean about having an empty tin, so I did put some chockies in here. But of course, the essential thing for any Lord Mayor to relax with is the bottle. And then, I'm not going to find fun trying to put this all back, I'll tell you, it was a jigsaw puzzle. Your consort needs to be kept happy, so I bought some of his favourite sweeties. And since you're going to be having alcohol, you probably need some peanuts. And then last but nowhere least, the cats are going to be very unhappy. So I thought you'd need something to keep them going. Sue, have a brilliant year. And I'm going to have fun now. I think I'm just literally going to dump this back in here. Oh, there is some polos at the bottom of there as well. I'm now wrecking the place, but never mind. So, folks, I'm sure Sue will make good use of that pack. And one of the things that I'm very conscious that we've got the big splash coming up. And I have it on good advice. There's a certain person I know very, very well. We'll do cut-price paddleboard lessons if you want to make sure that you can stand on that. Now, whether Kevin and Steve will allow you to wear the chains when you're paddleboarding, I'm not totally convinced, but I'm sure we could give it a try. At least it'll be a good photo opportunity. So, I move that Councillor Sue Dan be formally sworn in as Lord Mayor of the City of Plymouth for the ensuing year. Thank you.
I now call upon Councillor Richard Bingley to second the motion, and I invite Councillor Richard Bingley to come forward. Thank you.
My Lord Mayor, Honorary Freeman and Honorary Alderman of the City of Plymouth, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen and young people, and to those watching online today. Although it is for somewhat a brief period of time, actually, that I have gotten to know Sue, she has got one of those radiant, transparent personalities that enables me to already sort of think of her as a warm, generous, and highly professional colleague. 35 years a political party member, 15 years a tireless ward councillor, and a very senior local politician. Perhaps Sue doesn't realise it, but many of us across all sides of the chamber look to Sue for her nuggets of wisdom, sometimes her rather transparent body language, and perhaps a little reassurance that we get the balance right on a particular decision or when we're summing something up in committee. Now, don't get me wrong, Sue is a compelling and coherent party politician. She is proud of her party and steadfast in describing herself politically as a socialist. But equally, Sue exudes the wisdom, discretion, and diplomacy that our city so urgently needs. Sue's instincts are to solve problems collectively, to heal and unite. And this is really why I look forward to working with Sue so much over the next year. After COVID-19 and the atrocities that have challenged our city, added to a spiralling cost of living crisis, it is vital that our City Council drive programmes of support and proactively unite to deliver the job creation and public services that our people across the city need and deserve. With Sue's passion and drive for social justice and climate-friendly job creation, as she steps up to become Plymouth's first citizen, I just know that Sue is the right person at the right time for our ocean city. So yes, we're a little bit shell-shocked, all of us, by the wickedness and the senselessness of what has occurred in our city recently. But Sue is that warm, generous, dynamic and wise personality. And these very clear strengths, these very clear attributes, mirror the very same attributes and strengths of our glorious ocean city: warm, generous, dynamic, and wise. So, my Lord Mayor, it is an absolute honour for me to second the motion that Councillor Sudan accept the declaration of office of Lord Mayor of the City of Plymouth for the ensuing year. Thank you.
In the absence of any other nominations, I will now put the motion to the meeting. We now move to the vote. All those in favour? Any against? Thank you. I declare that Sue Dan is elected the Lord Mayor of the City of Plymouth for 22-23.
Lord Mayor, I invite you to take the declaration of acceptance of office. Will you repeat after me? I, Susan Elizabeth Dan.
I, Susan Elizabeth Dan.
Having been elected to the office of Lord Mayor.
Having been elected to the office of Lord Mayor.
Hereby declare.
Hereby declare.
That I take the said office upon myself.
That I take the said office upon myself.
And will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof.
And will truly and faithfully
fulfil
the duties thereof.
According to the best of my judgment and ability.
According to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you. Will you now please sign a written declaration of acceptance? Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Before I came in today, I was feeling really, really nervous, thinking, this is a really big moment. So before I start looking forwards, I'd just like to take this personal opportunity just to say thank you to Terry and to Maddie for what they've done this year. It hasn't been an easy year. There have been things that have happened in the city that they have coped with admirably. It's been a difficult political year too, so let's not put that aside. But the Lord Mayor has always come above that, and I hope that I can continue this duty for the next 12 months. So now I'll get on to looking forwards. Honorary Freemen and Honorary Aldermen of the City of Plymouth, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, young people, and to those joining us virtually today. What an honour to be standing here as your Lord Mayor. This is not something that I envisioned 25 years ago when I first moved to Plymouth. During this time, I have fallen in love with the city, its people and its sense of place. Hence, it's why I want to use my year as Lord Mayor to celebrate Plymouth, celebrate the city's people, celebrate Plymouth as a place to live, and Plymouth's place on the planet. So, how am I going to do this? First, it's people. Celebrating what happens in our communities across the city and meeting as many groups as I can. To start this off, Councillor Penberthy and I are looking forward to the Queen's 70th Jubilee celebrations. We want to visit as many of these events as we can across the city in June. Armed Forces Day follows quickly, and we will be honouring the 40th anniversary of the Falklands conflict, when Falkland veterans who have the freedom of the city will parade. Also in June, the rehabilitation triathlon with the Royal Marines will take place. Pride in our military history and celebration of the people's achievements today. There are many businesses and organisations that have employees and volunteers who carry out their work, many going beyond and above what they need to do or are expected to do. Let us celebrate their achievements and say thank you to them. We, that's Councillor Penberthy, is hopefully my Deputy Lord Mayor, assuming he hasn't changed his mind, are looking forward to receiving many invitations this year. It will give us such an insight to how so many people contribute to the life of our city. Next, Plymouth as a place. We have amazing businesses, entrepreneurs, innovators, research, educational and creative establishments, to name just a few. As your Lord Mayor, and with help from Councillor Chris Penberthy as Deputy Lord Mayor, we will be ambassadors, helping to promote the narrative about what we do in the city, sharing why Plymouth is such a fabulous place to live, work and play, and helping drive forward its success in both economic and cultural growth. Then there is Plymouth's place on the planet. We are so lucky. We have parks throughout the city, we have the moors on our doorstep, we have two beautiful rivers, the Plym and the Tamar, and I must not forget to mention Plymouth Sound, the first designated National Marine Park, a waterfront to be proud of. However, we need to look after the city we live in, which is why Lord Mayor's Day has a climate, environment, ocean, blue, green theme. We can all play a part to protect our environment and make a difference. Time now for a few introductions. Our cadets. We had some excellent applicants this year, and we have chosen, for the first time, to have 2 cadets. As Lord Mayor, I have Georgia Stiles, a police cadet, and the Deputy Lord Mayor's cadet is Sergeant Josephine Winter. We hope that they also have a year to remember, be part of our celebration of young people's achievements, and we both feel that it is so important for young people to have a role in the city. Next, I would like to announce the charities we will support in this year. I have picked these because of the values that underpin my personal politics, a sense of fairness and equality, wanting people to have opportunities in life and the safety of a net and a helping hand when needed. Many of us are able to build our own support networks. There are people sitting in this room today who have supported me in my political life, my working life, my personal life, dear friends and family, people who can pick me up when needed. I want that for people who may not have that support. Michelle Obama once said, "It truly takes a village to raise children. Build your village wherever you are. It will be your salvation and keep you sane." Therefore, my first charity is Trevi, a charity that can build that village, that can offer a support network for women and children, support families that for whatever reason cannot cope, giving new life chances for women and their children to thrive. A charity that supports women who have been victims of domestic abuse, helping them to build back their lives. Too many women are the victims of violence, and sadly, we have already had a quiet moment of reflection on this today. My second charity is Gifted Women, a relatively new charity that takes this journey for women a little further, a charity that helps and mentors women back into work, opening up opportunities for a future life in employment. And this is the plug. There will be a Just Giving page set up today. There will be activities throughout the year to raise funds, so please support and donate when you can. Help give opportunities to women and children who need a helping hand. Help build that village in Plymouth so we can all benefit. I'd like to say thank you to the Reverend Tim Smith for accepting the role of chaplain, unless he changes his mind, of course. Thank you to members of the City Council who have supported my nomination. I have to say that being the chair of full council meetings is going to be an interesting part of my role. I have been told by my consort and grandchildren that I have a very stern look when people are out of order. And I'm hoping that that's going to be enough and I don't have to use the gavel. In addition, thanks to the Lord Mayor's team that I've put together this weekend, it's going to be fun. It's the start of what I hope is going to be an exciting and rewarding year for us all. And having listened to my 2 proposers today, I think I do have quite a lot to live up to, but I will do my best to make sure that I'm a good Lord Mayor. And finally, thank you all for being here today. And if you're online, thank you very much for watching. And thank you for welcoming me into my new role. Thank you. the formal bit, the chair, the first meeting that I'm going to chair. I will now move to item 2 on the agenda and move that Councillor Chris Pemberthy be elected the Deputy Lord Mayor of the City of Plymouth for the ensuing year. Councillor Mark Shea will second the motion.
My Lord Mayor, Honorary Freemen of the City, Honorary Aldermen, fellow councillors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, young people and those people watching online. It's a huge honour and it gives me huge pleasure to second Councillor Chris Pemberthy as the Deputy Lord Mayor. Congratulations. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Good. In the absence of other nominations, I will put the motion to the meeting. All in favour? Thank you. I think that is carried. I declare that Councillor Chris Pemberthy is elected Deputy Lord Mayor of the City of Plymouth for the year 2022-23.
Deputy Lord Mayor, I invite you to take the declaration of acceptance of office. Will you please repeat after me? I, Chris Pemberthy,
I, Chris Pemberthy,
having been elected to the office of Deputy Lord Mayor,
having been elected to the office of Deputy Lord Mayor,
hereby declare
that
I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof. According to the best of my judgment and ability. Thank you. Will you please sign the written declaration of office?
Right, that's 2 acceptances. I am pleased to announce the appointment of Reverend Tim Smith at St Jude's Church, Plymouth, as my chaplain, and I invite Father Harris to transfer the Lord Mayor's chaplaincy insignia to Reverend Tim Smith. I now invite the retiring Lord Mayor to present Father Robert Harris with the commemorative badge of office.
Lord Mayor, I invite Warrant Officer Mark Hopper, on behalf of the Royal Navy, to approach for the presentation of Drake's sword.
Didn't mute the mic.
That's me. Please be seated. You made me jump. There will now be a presentation of gifts. I'm going to invite Poppy Stratton to give gifts to the outgoing Lord Mayor's Consort, Mr Colin Beer, and to the outgoing Deputy Lord Mayor's Consort, Mr Nick Bridgman. I now invite Eva Treble to give gifts to the incoming Lord Mayor's Consort, Alderman Chris Mavin, and the incoming Deputy Lord Mayor's Consort, Mr Darren Hartley. I call upon Councillor Mrs Maddie Bridgman to move a vote of thanks to the retiring Lord Mayor and the retiring Deputy Lord Mayor. To yourselves. Thank you.
My Lord Mayor, Honorary Freeman, Honorary Alderman of the City of Plymouth, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen and young people, and all those watching online. Well, before I start, I'm just going to explain myself. Last night I was stuck on the M5 and I didn't get home till 5 o'clock this morning, so this is ad lib. But wow, what an incredible year. I'm going to read some quotes on behalf of the Lord Mayor. This is things that people have said about her. June 2021, the South Atlantic Medal Association, Plymouth branch, flagpole ceremony, Plymouth, June 2021. On behalf of SAMA 82, from the bottom of our hearts, we would like to thank you for all your support on the unveiling of the Falklands Bench in Plymouth on the 21st of June 2021. December 21. A huge thank you for attending the Veterans Carol service last week. The event has been a big success, and the veterans and their families really felt you were there for them. Improving Lives Plymouth, Rob Smith, Chief Executive Officer. May 2021. Many thanks for supporting and attending our 2022 event. It means so much to our community, and you made it special for all of us. Actually, that should say 2022. See, I'm a little bit tired. Tamerton Folliott, May Carnival. That was from Mr. Patrick Kilpatrick, the chairman. April 22. Just to say many thanks for coming today and opening the extended National Marine Park weekend. It was a pleasure to meet you both and look forward to catching up with you in the future. The octopus. That was from Roger Maslin, CEO of the National Marine Park. I recall when Terry asked me about 16 months ago if I would be her Deputy Lord Mayor. I sat in my car, I was outside Lidl, and I cried a little bit. I was so proud. She explained this year, our year, was going to be about strong women. And my goodness, we've had to be strong. We've both faced things that we shouldn't face. We had the world's press on our doorstep after Kiam, and the Lord Mayor got up and stood in front of the world and represented our city out here, and I was so proud of you. Terry introduced a brand new award, the Lord Mayor's Award, and she's invited people from the city, not just Olympians, and I can see Mark there, and I'm so proud you're here today because she gave you the freedom. So proud. And Tom Daly, of course, as well, who's not here today. I think he's in Los Angeles. But from Olympians to carers, the amount of children that have come in the parlour, and she's hugged them and bought them cakes and biscuits, and even the little allergies and things, she's gone out, rushing out to Tesco's to buy a banana or a bag of fruit. She's just been incredible. And every child, and I think every person that actually visited the parlour got to see Nancy Astor's diamonds, something that Lord Mayors haven't done before. It's that personal touch. Of course, we are strong women, but we've also had strong men right behind us. So Colin has been absolutely fantastic. My husband Nick is the shyest person in the world. He looks grumpy, but that's just his face. But when you come home after a really bad day, or you've done something in support of a charity like Trevi, where you really, your heart hurts the pain some of those women have felt, and you come home and tea's cooked, it's on the table, there's a cup of tea. It's just, so I can't thank both our consorts. And Colin, obviously, and Terry lost their daughter recently. They've been tremendous, so thank you very much, both of you. I'm going to give it a little snippet here. So we had to attend a memorial one night, Terry and I. So 1 minute, we're dashing across the Hoe, all in black, like French and Saunders in some sort of comedy sketch. And we stood and we did our bit and we lit our candles. And then we scurried back, and the next minute we were in the back of the car getting undressed, putting on our cocktail dresses because we had to be at an awards ceremony for all the foster carers in the city. It was just, you can't write this stuff. It was like 27 dresses in French and Saunders all together in one little sketch, the two of us. You know, legs everywhere. The poor mace bearers, I don't know what they thought was going on in the back of that car. But Terry has done everything professionally, with dignity. She has principles. She's kind. She introduced me to the chain gang, and you know where you are, because you're all incredible too. She's done hundreds and hundreds of events. I think we've hit over 400, probably tipping close to 5 strong women together. She's also worn hundreds of hats. I've talked too much. I'm tired. You're tired. You don't need to hear me all day. But I move the council accords to Councillor Mrs Terry Beer the sincere thanks of the citizens of Plymouth for the invaluable service she has rendered the city as Lord Mayor since 2021, and for the able manner, despite everything, in which she has presided over the deliberations of the council during that period. Thank you very much.
I call upon Councillor Mark Coker to second the vote of thanks.
My Lord Mayor, Honorary Freeman, Honorary Alderman of the City of Plymouth, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, young people, and those watching online in the 21st century. Yesterday, Lord Mayor, I sat looking out to sea at Mount Wise, my favourite spot in my ward, pondering how on earth I was going to follow the speeches that have already been done today. Lord Mayor, Councillor Terry Beer, Terry, and I have an immediate affinity. I remember going back to 2007 when Councillor Lowry, Councillor Linda Boyer, Councillor Jonathan Dreen, and I were all elected together. We came to this place not knowing what we were going to be letting ourselves in for. But one thing that we did do, the four of us, we actually bonded. Despite political differences, we looked after each other. #Be kind today. We were a proud group of newbies, Councillor Beer, and we enjoyed that. Like all of us, we have grown in stature. We have held numerous positions. You're the ultimate Lord Mayor from the 2007 intake. We've all had cabinet jobs. We've all had scrutiny jobs. But the one thing that bound us together was that we wanted and we were proud to represent the people of our areas and the city of Plymouth. I'm going to come off script now because I wasn't going to mention this. Terry, one of the memories that I will always take with me, as you know, as ward councillors in Devonport and Keam, we suffered a real tragedy 10 months ago. It was hard for the people of Keam. It was hard for the people of this city. and for members of the council to know what to do, how to respond. I remember on the night of a candlelit vigil feeling down, depressed, not knowing what to say, not knowing what was expected of me. As I walked down through that park, Councillor Beer was there. She turned to me, Lord Mayor, gave me a hug with her to the warmth, the kindness that the Lord Mayor has shown to my residents, my ward, and the City of Plymouth. And I think, Lord Mayor, that will always be in my heart and my memory, and I thank you for doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and on and on, but I won't. I just want to thank Terry and Colin, who I've met on numerous occasions this year. The Lord Mayor has had personal issues and problems as well, but she has been a dedicated and fine and upstanding Lord Mayor. And I think the people of Plymouth, members of the City Council, owe a great gratitude to Terry and Colin. Lord Mayor, it is with the utmost respect and gratitude that I second the motion for Councillor Terry Beer. Thank you.
All those in favour? Thank you. The motion is carried. I would also like to express my thanks to the retiring Lord Mayor and retiring Lord Mayor's consort, along with the retiring Deputy Lord Mayor, with the presentation of gifts. So I'm now going to give the Lord Mayor her insignia and also a gift for the Deputy Lord Mayor. I'm now going to invite the retiring Lord Mayor to reply.
My Lord Mayor, Honorary Freeman, Honorary Alderman of the City of Plymouth, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen and young people, and those watching online at home today. What a year I've had. We've had everything thrown at us, including a dragon flying on Plymouth Hoe, which was mind-blowing. to sad and happy events we've had to expose our resilience to pull us through. Our year got off to a slow start at first, with our first visit to the War Memorial on Plymouth Hoe, where we learnt so much about the monument, its construction, and even recognised some names on the plates. Over the following weeks, a little work trickled in, and on average, we did about 5 engagements a week. Little did we know that the engagements would soon pick up and see us both busy, very busy, and even on some days, no time to eat. On the 24th of July, I was roped into sailing on the Eddystone Challenge to raise funds for Bowel Cancer West. Considering I'd never done anything like this before, I survived the experience with John from Bowel Cancer West, and we raised a tidy sum of money. I even underwent 2 eye operations and was soon able to stop wearing glasses all the time. In the operating theatre one day and engagements the next. Nothing ever really stops me from fulfilling my promise to the council and to the residents of this city. On the 12th of August, whilst at a private meeting, I noticed half a dozen calls from my daughter Kelly. She was frantically trying to establish that we were safe, as she had heard on social media and the news of a shooting in Keyham. Little did we know that this would have an impact on myself and the city. The next day, I spent the whole day in Keyham talking to residents, attending church services and vigils, some with Councillor Nick Kelly and some on my own. The mood in Keyham was very solemn and the story so tragic. Can we just take a moment to remember the 5 people that mattered, who were shot dead that day? On Monday, after doing a shop opening in Ridgeway and Plympton, we were rushed to the Guildhall here in Plymouth, where I delivered an emotional speech and led the city in silence. The world's press was on me and it felt surreal. I have visited Keyham on many occasions since the impact, and the impact will take years to fade. In November 2021, the murder of Bobby Ann MacLeod shocked Plymouth. A beautiful 18-year-old taken too soon. On sentencing at the Crown Court, the defendant was sentenced to 31 years in prison. Some of the details shared in the media and online have had an effect on local residents and all those who knew Bobby Ann. Can I again pause for a moment to remember this young lady, please? We have attended so many church services, all for a variety of reasons. Some in remembrance and some to thank civic leaders for their work in their communities across Devon and Cornwall. It was hugely important for us to include in our year places of worship that cover every multicultural city. We also had the pleasure of being invited to the Catholic Cathedral in Plymouth. We received such a warm welcome, and this is something I hope you will continue, Lord Mayor. During August, we held our first fundraiser and used the National Firework Championships to open up Elliott Terrace for an evening buffet and a generous raffle. We managed to raise £800 that night. Thank you to Maddie, who was in charge of the cocktails that evening, and thank you for all your contribution. Remembrance Sunday on Plymouth Hoe was quite surreal. The commemoration was emotional and sent goosebumps up my spine, as it had done for so many years of attending such events. November last was different because I gave a speech and remembered the contribution my own mother had made during the war as a serving Queen Alexander nurse. Trying so hard to hold myself together when I'd finished, the crowd was silent. And then for the first time ever, the crowd applauded me. There were tears, I'm afraid, and that was just me. I think the crowd thought I was emotional because I'd referred to my mum, but sadly that was not the case. Engagement suddenly took off, and I suppose we found ourselves thanking people in the community for all their work and support during the pandemic. It didn't stop there because I invented the Lord Mayor's Special Award and invited Olympic athletes, young people who had really made a difference, and a young lady who, against all odds, turned her life around, and me being told that I'd really made a difference to her. We even had semi-finalists from Britain's Got Talent and awarded them with the Lord Mayor's Special Award. We've encouraged children to the Lord Mayor's Parlour and spent a lot of time and fun playing in the council chamber, using the microphones and playing council. I recall a teacher saying to me, "Have you ever been a teacher?" And I answered, "No, because you are the real heroes." Dance groups have also been a huge feature in our year. I even had over 9,000 views on social media doing some street dance moves, and I can't dance. Pretty much everyone who has been in to see us has seen the diamonds that Nancy Astor had given to the city in 1959. The parlour has a wealth of history, which we were keen to share. We have said thank you to people who have gone over and above their duties, and even some saving lives at sea. One of our councillor's stepsons asked me if he could visit Elliot Terrace, and we made that happen. One happy chap, and I informed his school, and the young man was recognised in his weekly newsletter from the school. It was a huge honour to welcome Her Royal Highness Princess Anne to the city on 3 occasions. One visit was to the fish market, and those who know me will understand it was quite difficult for me with all those fishy smells. We were excited to be invited to Fishmongers Hall in London to once again meet Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, and even shared a joke with her. Such a down-to-earth woman, and so hard-working. We've also met His Royal Highness Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, at the Millfields HQ in Union Street. The royal rubbing shoulders didn't stop there when we went to the Royal Garden Party. I made it to the front of the queue and caught a glimpse of His Royal Highness Prince Charles. As I referred to earlier, Plymouth truly is a multicultural city, and Colin and I feel very privileged to have met so many people in our city and those who have established homes and businesses here. This has to be thanks to Councillor Chaz Singh, who has ensured that we have been introduced to as many successful businesses and entrepreneurs from many different cultures. We have made so many contacts and friends. I've even made headlines in Pakistan on the front page of their national newspaper and in the Philippines. We have welcomed Polish visitors into the parlour and even had guests from visiting Polish training ship, as well as a deputy leader from Gdynia. So I thank Councillor Chaz Singh for all his support. This week, we welcomed some Ukrainian cities into the council parlour and gave them a wonderful visit using some non-verbal communication and language line. I have welcomed 5 new aldermen to the city in recent times. I've broken the record handing out 3 honorary freemen in the city. Tom Daly, Mark Ormrod, and of course the amazing veterans of the Falklands War. It was certainly a very wet and windy evening when I met Tom on Plymouth Hoe to hand him his Freedom Scroll and medal. When Mark Ormrod came into the parlour to collect his scroll and medal, we were very moved to hear his story and plans for the future. The Falklands veterans came into the parlour before a full council meeting for tea and cakes. Afterwards, they joined all councillors in the chamber, where we shared a moving moment and a tear as the veterans were acknowledged. Lord Mayor, chairing the council meetings has been a challenge at times. As Lord Mayor, and I will be remembered for racing through the agenda items. At times, I felt like a head teacher whilst chairing the meetings, and I recall telling one councillor, "Sit down and stop talking." I've also broken the gavel as Lord Mayor, trying to get the chamber to order. Don't worry, Lord Mayor, it's been glued back together. But can you be careful, because I don't want you to hurt anybody. Even last weekend was incredible, as I stood proud of Plymouth residents whilst taking the salute and the march past by 29 Royal Artillery. I must also mention how welcoming everyone was at the Royal Citadel, where I attended a dinner and then Colin and I attended a family day. The views from our wonderful Royal Citadel of Plymouth Sound are truly spectacular and showcases Plymouth at its best. Councillors have been amazing supporting my various fundraising events during the full council breaks, when residents, friends and colleagues have donated wonderful cakes for them all to buy and raise funds for our chosen charities. Just this effort alone, Lord Mayor, has raised £1,200, so thank you. We have even held 2 fundraising dinners, which I've mostly organised myself, with entertainment through to an auction and raffles. Considering all things that are happening in my personal life, I've pulled this off with tremendous effort and raised a lot of funds. I need to add this to my CV. I'm now a successful events organiser. I'm extremely fussy about keeping things spotless, and I'm often caught picking up bits off the carpet. Being house proud has even followed me into the parlour and to Elliot Terrace. Well, Lord Mayor, I promised last year that I would be different, and I'm certain I've delivered on that. The first member of my family to be elected to the City Council, first member of my family to be the Deputy Lord Mayor, the first member of my family to be Lord Mayor, and most important of all, the first independent Lord Mayor ever. That was not an easy decision to give up my party values. I have to say I stand on my principles and my belief, and although hard, I'm strong enough to carry this forward. My other first was be the first Lord Mayor to attend the Tamerton Foliot Carnival twice in a year. I'm not entirely sure, Lord Mayor, but I may be the first Lord Mayor nominated for an award. My firsts have not stopped there, as I'm confident that I'm the first Lord Mayor to wear a sari to greet guests in the parlour. I thank Tinny for organising that. On Tuesday, I was the first Lord Mayor to invite refugees into the parlour from Ukraine. So I hope, Lord Mayor, you will continue the welcomes to these citizens in our city. Can I now take the opportunity to thank Councillor Maddie Bridgman and her husband Nick, who have supported me in the last 12 months. You have both done me and the city proud at events you have attended on our behalf. Maddie even had a wonderful trip to London and met Her Royal Highness Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, and Her Royal Highness Sophie, Duchess of Wessex. Maddie states she loved every minute and has enjoyed her times with Father Robert Harris, who has kept us both on the straight and narrow, if that's possible. Under your seat, or just around there, Maddie, there is a gift for you and Nick, and I hope you take it home, and all I will say is drink it neat. I'd like to say a huge thank you to you, Nick, for what you've done for us this year. Thank you. Now, talking of Father Robert, thank you for taking care of our spiritual needs and to be that shoulder to lean on in times of sadness. It has been wonderful having Robert as my chaplain, and he has certainly raised some smiles when he attended the dinner at St. Elizabeth's and he said grace for us. It was really strange, Robert, to see people laugh at a prayer. Under your seat, there is a gift for you, and I hope you treasure that, and thank you so much for what you've done for us. During this year, I've been supporting and fundraising for 2 charities, the NSPCC and Bowel Cancer West. These charities were chosen because in 2017, Colin was diagnosed with bowel cancer. And after 4 weeks in Dervers ICU and a few weeks in rehabilitation, he was able to come home and rebuild his strength, only to have a slight setback in March 2020 when a spot on his lung was cancer. Right in lockdown, he was in hospital having had a lung removed. Everything went successfully, and he is now here today to support me as my consort during my year of office that is coming to conclusion. All this has been happening in the backdrop of me being the Lord Mayor, chair of the council meetings, and carrying out my duties professionally and diligently. Before I close, I must pay tribute to the Lord Mayor's team, who have supported me during my year. They've cried with me, they've propped me up, and when I was at my lowest, hugged me and made sure I was organised at every engagement. Thank you to Elizabeth, Kate, Sarah, Glenda and Maddie. I also would like to thank our mace bearers for transporting us all over the city and the county in a lovely car. It did take us a while to get used to being chauffeur-driven, and now Colin only has me to drive him. Steve and Kevin, you have been mindful of knowledge, and you've kept us very well entertained. As a thank you, we all enjoyed an evening at St. Elizabeth's Hotel, and the food and drink were on us. Holding me together like glue has been Colin, trying to calm me at moments of anxiety before speeches. Colin has been superb throughout and enjoyed every moment as being a consort to me. So thank you, Colin, for being my rock. I'll buy you lunch next week. Can I also thank the people who have kept me looking nice? My hairdresser, Kelly Broomhead, and my nail technician, Sarah Porter, who ensures my nails look good. And finally, I must say a huge thank you to Jane Louise and Liscard for selling me some amazing dresses. Lord Mayor, Sue, and your consort, Chris, I would publicly like to congratulate you on becoming the Lord Mayor and consort of the City of Plymouth. Colin and I sincerely wish you well in your year ahead and hope you will be able to continue the work we have started. And finally, I'd like to tribute my whole year to my darling daughter, Sarah, who died 3 weeks ago, and I tribute my year to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. And we all know it hasn't been an easy year, but thank you. You got through your speech. Well done. Right, I'm now going to move on to the formal part of the meeting, which is the AGM. I move to item 4 on the agenda to agree the leader of the City Council. I move that Council agrees that Councillor Richard Bingley continues in the role of leader. Councillor Patel, I understand that you will be seconding the motion. Thank you. you have to move to the lectern so they can hear you online.
My Lord Mayor, Honorary Freeman of the City, Honorary Aldermen of the City, members of the Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, young people and online viewers. I second the motion for Councillor Bingley to be elected as the leader of the Council. It gives me great pleasure to do this. Thank you.
Can I ask Council for all those in favour? Thank you. Any against? Okay, that is carried. Thank you very much. I now move on to item 5 on the agenda to note the membership of Cabinet. Members of Council, I ask that Council notes the information provided in the report concerning the membership of the Cabinet and the delegation of responsibilities to Cabinet members. Thank you. I now move to item 6 on the agenda to agree amendments to the Constitution. I move that Council agrees the amendments to the Constitution as set out in the agenda papers. Councillor Patel, I understand that you will be seconding the motion. Okay, it's formally seconded from the floor. Thank you. Can I ask Council for all those in favour? Any against? That is carried. Thank you very much. I move to item 7 on the agenda to agree committees and their members and appoint chairs and vice chairs. Members of Council, I move that the committees, the membership of those committees and the chairs and vice chairs are approved to enable the transaction of the business of the Council until the next annual general meeting. Councillor Patel, I understand that you are seconding. Thank you. Formal seconding from the floor. Can I ask the Council for all those in favour? Any against? That is carried. Thank you very much. I now move to item 8 of the agenda to appoint representatives to outside bodies. Members of Council, I move that the appointments and nominations of councillors and others as representatives on outside bodies are approved until the next annual general meeting as set out in the report. Councillor Patel, I understand that you are seconding. Thank you. That's formally seconded from the floor. Oh, there's a little bit that apparently I should have read out, which isn't on my notes, but is on the Chief Executive notes, which is there are a number of vacancies, confirmation of nominations to the vacancies of the North Yard Community Trust and the Earl Trust Fund will be confirmed at the next council meeting. So now, Councillor Patel, can you stand up and form? Thank you. Formally seconded from the floor. Council, can I ask for all those in favour? Thank you. Any against? No, so therefore that is carried. I now move to item 9 on the agenda to agree a correction to the taxi licensing policy. Councillor John Riley, I understand that you will be moving the recommendations as set out in the agenda papers. Councillor Rennie, I understand you are seconding. Do you wish to reserve your right to speak? So, Councillor Riley, are you formally moving? Okay, so formally moved by Councillor Riley from the floor, and Councillor Rennie, where are you? And formally seconded by Councillor Rennie from the floor. Thank you. Can I ask Council for all those in favour? Any against? Therefore, the motion is carried. Thank you. Right, that concludes the formal business of the day. I would like to invite guests to join me for refreshments in the lounge area, where entertainment will be provided by Montpellier Steel Pans and 4 sixth formers from Lipsum, who are instrumentalists playing for your enjoyment. So if you could possibly just stay in your seats until we've all come off here and walked to the back so we don't clash, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. You've done it. Well done.
Still band playing. Thank you all very much.